It was not that people would be checking into offices that were made of glass and bricks and mortar and so on and so forth. We were talking about people checking into an office that had a digital infrastructure where you could essentially manage the entire employee life cycle.
I think how HR tech has kind of come from, as you said, just data automation to now intelligence and making it a more personalized experience for your employees.
People came from their personal persona of using an Instagram, LinkedIn, Netflix, Amazon, everything like that. There was a crash in their experience when they opened their HR tech, primarily on a desktop.
Yeah.
And we said we want to be mobile first.
Hello everyone. In a world where the workplace is being reshaped by technology, talent expectations and global shifts, HR tech is no longer a support function. It is the engine of transformation. And today we are joined by Sandeep Chaudhary, CEO of PeopleStrong, one of Asia's most prominent enterprise HR tech platforms, to explore how the HR tech ecosystem has evolved over time, PeopleStrong's growth journey over these years, and what lies ahead for the future of work. So without further ado, let's hear it from the man steering the ship, Sandeep Chaudhary. Hi Sandeep, thank you for joining us.
Hi Yasmin, thank you. Pleasure talking to you.
Great. So Sandeep, you've been in this industry for decades now, at the forefront of transformation, if I may say. How have you seen the HR tech ecosystem evolve over these years, especially in the past 2 decades?
So half a decade in the HR tech space, but obviously I've been a witness to the entire transformation and the disruption that technologies are done in the space of HR and around consumer, healthcare, finance, and so on and so forth. Just very quickly zooming into HR tech, I've witnessed the movement of HR tech from the space of organizing information, which is really where it was called the human resource information system, to digitization to automation. It was the legacy monolithic systems that were built that over a period of time were only to discover lack of agility, huge amount of cost that was associated with those systems. And clearly there was no element around how an employee is going to experience the system and so on and so forth. So it was a lot more focused on information, data, centralization, creating a single source code, and so on and so forth. I think as you looked at the evolution from there clearly was a need for organizations like PeopleStrong, and I must give a lot of credit to many of our global and domestic competitors who fundamentally saw space to bring more agility, to essentially move just outside of the space of automation and start talking about a lot more of data-driven HR and talent decision-making in organizations. And a large part of that execution was now sitting with technology. When we started to talk about infrastructure, almost immediately post-COVID or during the point of COVID, it was not that people would be checking into offices that were made of glass and bricks and mortar and so on and so forth. We were talking about people checking into an office that had a digital infrastructure where you could essentially manage the entire employee life cycle. So in very, very quick sense, that's really been the evolution from data to bringing in agility to bringing in a lot more that you can essentially do to present the technology for the use of engagement of employees in an organization to today what we are essentially talking about agentic AI, which is fundamentally moving it even a step further into personalization.
Exactly. That's a great journey. I think how HR tech has kind of come from, as you said, just data automation to now intelligence and making it a more personalized experience for your employees. That's how the whole ecosystem has evolved, and PeopleStrong has played a great role in that. So tell me about PeopleStrong's journey from where it started to where it has come. What have been some of the most pivotal moments for you?
So PeopleStrong is a great organization that was founded way back in 2006, but I'm going to actually zoom into maybe the last 5 years, which is really the journey that I've been a part of. It was an organization that was a sort of services and a tech company. We very clearly wanted to separate out our services and separate out our technology and really dial down all of our investment into a technology organization. When we started to do that, I think there were multiple elements that we had to tackle. One element was for us to really position ourselves as a PeopleStrong SaaS tech brand. And that's really when in the year 2001, we essentially saw the entire makeover and the relaunch and the reposition of the PeopleStrong brand, and that literally stood for innovation, agility, and how we really want to be able to build a system which is in there for the users, because we fundamentally said the employees of an enterprise are going to be the ultimate users and our final customers in that sense. When we started to look at the entire market, and we did choose that we want to be able to play in the mid-market to the enterprise segment, we saw a motley crew of HR technology that organizations were using. One very missing element from HR tech was payroll.
Yes.
It was always considered to be outsourced services, not necessarily essential. Look at it from an employee standpoint, that is most fundamental. We wanted to bring comprehensiveness, and we saw comprehensiveness to be a great point of entry where we could engage with customers, where they would essentially want to look at us outside of some of the very large, well-known global legacy SaaS or even on-prem systems. They should see us for being comprehensive. In the context of emerging markets, comprehensiveness for us essentially meant we need to be able to bring payroll right at the center of HR tech and not keep it on the periphery or entirely outside. The second element for us was we knew in the emerging markets there will always be constant pressure for growth, which means there will be constant ask of HR to hire the best talent and hire them the fastest.
Yeah.
So building out an application tracking system, digital onboarding, and so on and so forth became an absolute priority. Everything in talent management was critical, but this was an essential item for an organization to essentially be able to succeed on a quarter-to-quarter basis. You've got to be able to bring in the people who can go and fight it out in the marketplace for your business, and so on and so forth. Application tracking was just not about managing that entire process, but it was making it hugely experiential for you to be competitive in this highly competitive game of attracting talent. The third element for us was we saw talent management to be highly disintegrated. So we were talking about learning, we were talking about compensation, performance, and so on and so forth. And we said, in isolation, none of this is really very compelling for an employee. We got to be able to integrate this so that we are able to talk to what an employee wants out of a talent management.
Yes.
And we put that out on a skill cloud. We integrated, we presented the word with a talent operating system. We put that on a skill cloud. We got a brilliant wrapper of an artificial intelligence where now we were able to talk to every employee around his or her skill persona and literally architect personalized talent journeys for them. Now, from an HR or from a business standpoint, what that really meant was that at a click of a button, you could very quickly know who are the people interested and ready now for the role, because it was all sitting on skill, and you fundamentally had aggregated, disintegrated or disparate points of information on an individual, on the training programs, on the assessments, on the career preferences that they had essentially put in, and then be able to tell that individual the gap between the current and the desired competence. What are the kind of roles that his or her peers have essentially aspired to do in the company? Who are the current people who've made that role trajectory and have raised their hand in the system to be career mentors, and so on and so forth. And the fourth for us was we saw when people came from their personal persona of using an Instagram, LinkedIn, Netflix, Amazon, everything like that, there was a crash in their experience when they opened their HR tech, primarily on a desktop. And we said we want to be mobile first, and our HR tech enterprise experience should be no less than a consumer tech experience. In fact, that's really when we brought in our current CTO. We came in as the person behind everything that we experience at Make My Trip, because we wanted that core consumer tech experience of how you will open the PeopleStrong app, and in one or two clicks, you will essentially be able to execute everything. It is not just about fulfilling your daily transactions, but actually engaging with it on a regular basis. And a mobile app, which is just not a transactional app, but has inbuilt intelligence and collaboration in it. So literally for no reason should any employee be able to open up the laptop. And while we were doing that, we were seeing a massive growth in industries like healthcare, retail, e-commerce, hospitality, and all of that just had 85% or more of the employees as feet on street. Now, those are not even the individuals who are roaming around with a desktop or a laptop. Many of them might not even have email ID. So the functionality of accessing everything from an HR standpoint was all on the mobile. comprehensiveness came together for us, and we saw the power of that in COVID, because when organizations was remote, employees were remote, IT departments were remote, everything was a little disparate. Somebody was managing a payroll, somebody was managing a core HR, your talent management was sitting with maybe 2 or 3 or maybe consolidated, but there was a strong need for consolidation. And today, look at in serendipity, that consolidation paid us massive dividends when we looked at the superpower of generative AI.
Yeah.
Because if you put that across verticals, you limit it.
Yeah.
If you put that across an horizontal, you accentuate the benefit and the tremendous power that you can essentially get out of the generative AI.
Yeah.
And that's fundamentally what we offered the world in the year 2024 when we said, we are going to be the first ones to bring GenAI capabilities in our talent operating system. In 2025, we brought in the multi-agentic architecture experience, where now it was agents that were taking over a large part of what we would call as the recruitment module, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Such an interesting journey, if I must say, as you said, from being rigid systems way back 2 decades ago to becoming an organization, coming up with an organization like PeopleStrong, which has innovation, agility, and so much of customization as the foundation that they build on, with the kind of initiatives you've spoken about. I think a lot to learn from other people, also for other organizations.
I want to be able to very quickly make a correction, not customization, because that was a bit of an undesirable feature of the monolithic legacy systems that we're talking about. We are talking about a lot more about configurability. And today in the agentic AI, we are talking a lot more about the extensibility of the platform.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. So we've seen the pivotal moments of PeopleStrong. We've seen how the HR tech overall ecosystem has evolved with time. How is your story different from others? Because yes, there are a lot of players out there in the market. What differentiates PeopleStrong?
As they say, every happy family is happy for the same reason, and they're unhappy for very different reasons. And hence we had our own story. We clearly were operating with constraints, like every other business does. Not that that was kind of a little bit unique to PeopleStrong, but we really pivoted ourselves on one line. Every meeting in PeopleStrong over the last 24 months, every conversation inside PeopleStrong, every investment has started with the line that we want to build a profitable enterprise with happy customers. If you see, there is no mention of growth. Not that we were not crazy for growth or we were not growing, but we really wanted to pivot ourselves for balanced growth. And balanced growth fundamentally meant we want to focus more on our existing clients, taking them to a better place, fulfilling our promise to them first, understanding what more can we do for them, because we are comprehensive, we can do a lot more. We've got over 20 SKUs. They might have taken only 10. Can we serve you with more? Are you seeing PeopleStrong deliver to what you want? Can we test out first set of innovation, whatever is coming out of our labs with you? That became the center point of our existence. So honestly, if I had 1 hour to spare, I would go and spare that time with my existing client who've already put the trust in me, as opposed to go and get a new client on board. So that was the balance that we created with growth and with customer happiness, NPS, NRR. All of these were significantly more important for us, and that's how we've essentially taken ourselves onto maybe being one of the very few SaaS enterprise grade organizations in the country to be profitable. And profitable to sustain that profitability, because that's fundamentally our DNA. Which also did not mean that we didn't innovate, but we created a concept of frugal innovation.
That's interesting.
We fundamentally wanted to innovate that would truly benefit our clients, where we knew we will be able to deliver much more than what the client is expecting, and where they will see a very tangible increase either in their employee experience. So there is a massive aha of experience of an employee of how they are receiving things from HR now on technology and so on and so forth. We wanted simplification for HR. HR shouldn't really be sitting with reams of data, information, not knowing what to do, and so on and so forth. We want to simplify their life. And the third element was we want to be able to bring data to every talent decision so that it's a lot more efficient. HR has better credibility. The debate, which has been never ending, HR needs to have a seat on the table. We really believed we will pack HR with so much of data conviction that you would have no choice but to listen to them.
Yeah, and that's the larger vision after all, right? I think a kind of empowering HR to have not just a seat but a voice at the table also. And I think PeopleStrong is doing that.
They should ideally, in today's context where talent is by far the most valued element for every business.
Yes.
Everything else is what you can replicate, but how you engage with talent, how you build that culture, how you end up getting that disproportionately higher outcome from every individual, which is not what you ask for, which is what you fundamentally earn and they give, is really where I think we were not just bringing HR onto the table, giving them the voice, but we were putting HR into the driving seat in today's businesses where the only differentiation between a not so successful business and a highly successful business is the discretionary effort that you're able to get from your employees.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's really where HR tech had a strong role to play with enterprises who were able to use that much to their competitive advantage.
Yes, absolutely. And happy customers are directly proportional to a growth in your business, and I think that's what is the story of PeopleStrong here, and we can see that.
We've been telling the world, for you to be a customer-centric organization, you first have to deliver on employee centricity.
Totally. Yes.
If you want to be able to give a very digital experience to your customers, you have to first replicate that experience for your employees.
Yeah, exactly. So if you keep your employees happy, they'll take care of your business. That's famously known. So thank you for sharing that. Coming towards the future, and you've been in the news recently because of the backing that you've got from Goldman Sachs, such a huge brand. So what does the future look like for you today? And what does this partnership entail in terms of how are you looking forward to more, exciting times with PeopleStrong and Goldman Sachs together? And what do you have in place or what are you putting together for your clients?
See, we've been, while there's a lot of euphoria in the market, we are very grateful and privileged to be with Goldman Sachs. There were 2 or 3 elements that really got us to make this choice, both ways, both for Goldman Sachs as well as for PeopleStrong. One, their futuristic view on HR tech.
Yes.
Clearly, they're interested in this category. They want to be able to build this category, not just in India, not just with PeopleStrong, but with multiple other investments that they essentially have across the globe. Mm-hmm. There is a lot for us to be able to learn from that ecosystem. In my opinion, there are many things from here on we really want to be able to get right the first time around. The second element is their deep investment and expertise both in SaaS as well as in AI. I really do believe that on the Wall Street, there isn't any organization which has invested more in AI than Goldman Sachs. In fact, one of our biggest asks is, we want the world's best mentor in the space of AI because it is not an important element to do. For us at this point in time, it is very, very essential. There is a fair bit of work that we've already done. So we're coming with good understanding and great amount of AI that we've already delivered. Mm-hmm. But we know with the superpower and how much is possible with artificial intelligence, with agentic AI, we are just not even scratching the surface.
Yeah.
And I do feel that over the next 12 to 18 months is when you will see a massive transformation, which is fundamentally AI-led around our product excellence and product innovation. Mm-hmm. I'll talk less about it, but I will honestly want to be able to deliver and then have our clients talk about how that they are essentially experiencing. We will be doing very regular but very specific updates to the market, to our clients. Again, there is nothing that we're building is going to be in isolation. Mm-hmm. It is going to be with very strong participation of our clients. We are already in the place where we are creating an AI council with our clients because as much as we are learning, we need to be able to pass that learning on to our clients. In fact, to change the entire ecosystem or what they can demand of us is a very important part for us to be able to collaborate with the marketplace and build that together.
Great. So to great times ahead, I think, Sandeep. We are looking forward to hearing what will be the next updates. So what are the new innovations that PeopleStrong will come up with in this new partnership that you formed with Goldman Sachs. So I wish you all the best for it and thank you for your time. It was a great conversation today.
No, thank you for your partnership, and I would again be very humble to say that we are here learning, growing, and we will continue to be relentless about that.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so
Thanks.
much. Thank you.